literally stand up, and it's just me and this brown bear at 20 yards. So I shoulder my rifle, and I go to shoot him, and I realize I cannot see where his head is because he's like hunkered in a ball because the wind's ripping so bad. It's Kodiak Island, Alaska in late October, early November, and it's fucking freezing. So I'm like, if I shoot him bad, he's going to eat me. I'm going to die.
Damn, man, you've been all over the place, though.
Yeah, I lost track. 70 countries, maybe more.
And is it all for hunting, or is there for like the work you do, or is it just like you just want to go check them out?
A lot was military. The Middle Eastern stuff was military, probably 25 of the north of 60. And then the rest were just business avenues, aspects, stuff like that. Traveling a lot, just learning who I can trust in countries. So our wheelhouse now is Africa, which is a continent, not a country, but South Africa, Mozambique. We're just opening up a lot in Namibia, Botswana right now, which is kind of fun and exciting. Those are pretty untouched areas. And then, of course, Spain just came up because we used to do a ton out of Russia, which was fantastic. But the war kind of jacked that shit up. So now we have another avenue because we like offering more flavors than just Africa. So Spain's opened up, and I've been to Spain 4 times in the last 12 months.
You were just there like 2 weeks ago texting me and shit.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's beautiful. The people are awesome. The culture, the wine, the food, like everything about Spain is legit.
I know. I'm definitely, we'll talk about it afterwards, but I'm definitely interested in that thingy.
Yep.
Because why the hell wouldn't you want to do that? Stupid. Not to do it.
Javier's place is cool too, man. Like,
yeah, dude, look cool, man. Freaking, what drove you into the military?
I was a kid, man. I was a party animal. My dad.
You don't say.
Yeah. Extremist, I tell you. Party animal my whole life, and being a kid, it was fun. It was fun growing up upstate New York, but I just I wasn't grounded yet. I knew I was just a free flyer, so I didn't want to be one of those guys to go to college. Literally, the only reason why I did it is because I didn't want to be the guy that goes to college and just flunk out, be an asshole. I knew I was super smart, and I knew there was a direction I wanted to go in life, but I didn't know which direction. And I didn't want to be a druggie dropout and go, walk around Colorado like a hippie. And so I was just like, fuck it, military, they'll give me college. So I'll have the money for the backside of college after 4 years, which will be nice. Hopefully by 4 years, I'll be grounded enough to figure out a direction. And then I was like, well, I don't want to be a pussy, so let's go in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, dude.
And I remember the phone call that my dad, well, first of all, my dad was like, you ain't never going to make the Marines. And I was like, cool. I like a challenge.
Military?
My dad was a police officer his entire life, 40 years. So it's one of the reasons why military, like we're very strict, regimented, all that good stuff. But so yeah, went in the Marine Corps, and the rest kind of wrote itself. Got out, went to college after that, and I actually wanted to go back in and work for the State Department was kind of my goal. But it's too political. It's too political, and I'm too politically incorrect. So thank God. God works in mysterious ways. So yeah, I just found out I had this weird fucking talent at taxidermy, which is insane.
How'd you just find out you had a weird talent in taxidermy? You just feel like stuffing an animal one day?
Well, I was a hunter, so all hunters know of taxidermy, and like a taxidermist is kind of like the cool dude. If you're a hunter, like the taxidermist, like the cool guy that you'd go see if like you got a really big trophy. So there's not, in the hunting world, a taxidermist is not a super negative connotation, but it's definitely a negative kind of industry thought. If you're not a hunter. So when I ended up shooting a nice whitetail deer here local in Pennsylvania when I got out of the Marine Corps, and I took it to a local taxidermist, and I just was like, I think I could do that. And I've always been artistic, and I just kind of sat there and drank some beers and watched them do it. And I was like, man, I could do that. It doesn't seem hard. And taxidermy in its own right is not hard. Fucking painting is not hard. Playing the guitar is not hard. Doing it fucking well is hard. So
absolutely,
I can whip my dick out and fucking rake it across the strings of a guitar, and I'm playing, but ain't nobody listening. So it's the same thing with taxidermy. It's very easy. The whole concept of it is easy. It's just nailing it. And I just knew that from immediately that I just could see it. Um, I'm a very good sketcher. I'm not a good painter. Like I love art. Uh, weird random information about me. There's no taxidermy in my house whatsoever. I don't allow it. It's my rule, not my wife's rule. I collect fine art in my house because I hate looking at my work, my art daily. So when I look at something that I did, I rip it apart daily. So I don't allow any of that shit in my house.
What's like the most expensive piece or popular piece in your house?
Um, One of my great friends is John Banovich, so I collect a lot of like wildlife artists.
Mm.
John Banovich, famous, just awesome, legendary dude, paints so realistic landscape and wildlife pieces they look like they're a photograph. And he's out of, I think, Bozeman, Montana. I should know. Sorry, John. Uh, but yeah, it's that's a weird thing about me. No taxidermy inside, but yeah, it's cool. Art's a cool thing. When I started, I remembered I wanted to change the whole industry on its head from the beginning. I knew I had something. I knew I was on covers of magazines within my first year, kind of known as a prodigy in the industry. But again, like you're in the like hunting industry, which is not rednecky as much as people think, but taxidermy could be also looked down as rednecky. So it was my goal when I first started, and there was a gentleman that was a good mentor of mine, and at that time I was still actively looking to go back and work for the government. Something that I was very passionate about, service to country, service to others. Um, but when I talked to Art, my mentor, he was like, "You have a gift of a lifetime, and you are throwing away a winning ticket if you do not become a taxidermist." He's like, "If there's one thing I can tell you, you're throwing away a winning ticket."
Mm.
And that resonated. So I just said, fuck it. I'll be a taxidermist.
Like it was a chore. Fuck it. I'm just gonna be a taxidermist.
I didn't think, I mean, I thought it would work, but I didn't think, I don't know. I don't know what I thought. I knew that we'd be sitting here 20 years later. I knew that it was there for us to take. And yeah, who knows where the future is going to go. Like I said, we always push that artistic angle from the word go, because there's some people that are just, it's art. It's a medium. My medium is sculpting foam. Like if you poured this whole room full of foam, I could do 2 Cape buffaloes fighting, or 3 lions fighting over a dead wildebeest. I can sculpt that all out of foam, no problem. So it is an art. I think people got to realize that. So
Well, yeah, it's rough for some people because they really dig animals. And like, that's one of the first things I told you was I don't know if I could go out and hunt an animal unless it was like literally for like food. Um, but yeah, I hold no like ill will towards you. I'm like, oh, this guy's a fucking dick because he like kills animals. Like, no, I would never do that. That's just judging people. But some people I know find it a little bit. They're not really that into it. But I can see the art aspect of it because obviously, I mean, I've been into your new showroom. I saw what you've done, and the fact that of course, I asked you that question, like, how many of these are yours? You were like, well, like all of them except for like 4 pieces at the time. And the one that definitely caught my eye was the brown bear. I mean, I remember just staring at it for a while. Like you were like in the back or something. You're like, oh, let me go do something quick. And I remember just standing in front of it, like, what the fuck, dude? This thing is huge. And you told me the story about how you just stood up.
yep.
That was insane.
So remind me, I'll spin back around to the brown bear story, but to some of the listeners, if anybody gives a shit about hunting or whatever, the whole aspect behind hunting in the basic aspect of it is hunting is conservation. Hunting is conservation in the fact that trophy hunting, like things that we do, you always have to equate it. The easiest way for your brain to wrap around it is you got to equate it to human beings. We are only hunting males. We do not shoot any females, any children. That is just faux pas. Nobody does that in the industry. We are only hunting males, and we are only hunting males way beyond breeding age. So we're talking about, again, comparing it to human beings, we are shooting 70, 80, 90-year-old males that are beyond breeding age, that have a group of women that are under them that they control, but because they're so old they can't breed, there's no testosterone, there's no semen, they can't get anything pregnant, but they're so big, old, and strong that they kick the fuck out of all the younger ones. And Ergo, the younger ones can't breed. So conservation through hunting. Everything is scientifically studied and everything is weighed and measured to the point where they'll say you have this amount of tags for this certain species in this certain area. So it's all conservation. Nobody's going out there just whacking shit. Like, it's not like what you see or what you think or what the liberals will tell you. It's all, and it's money for conservation. There's a saying in Africa, if it doesn't pay, it doesn't stay. Meaning, if there's no intrinsic value of the species, then there's no reason to keep it around. You know, if this wasn't worth anything, it wouldn't be here. It's the same reason of animals. Without a value on the animals, and value is only perceived through either A, hunting, or photographic, tourism stuff, which that's another thing with a lot of people in it. I don't know if it's controversial, but a lot of people say, well, why can't you take a picture of it? Well, you know, I can sell a rhino hunt for $100,000. How many pictures are you going to sell for $100,000? And by the way, that rhino that we're shooting for $100,000, he's 95 years old. He's got triple cancer and he's going to die within the next 6 months anyway. But that 300 or 100,000 that has been spent to shoot it goes towards a little bit of the tag fee and the outfitter fee. The rest of it goes into the protection of the species, drones, wildlife agencies, anti-tourism, poaching, like just tons and tons and tons of resources and assets gets put back into the preservation of the species. Because if the rhino is not worth $100,000, it does not stay. It will die. Nobody will protect it. So that's my little spiel about hunting. Take it or leave it as you will.
Yeah, dude.
But that's, most people just think we just go out there and fucking blast, and that's not the way it is.
But I mean, I think that's a lot of people when they talk about things they don't understand. You know, to anybody, no matter what the hell the subject matter is. I mean, you know, I still have people that come in here and tell me what's what, you know, building websites. I'm like, absolutely, you know everything.
Talk about how to run podcasts and shit.
Oh, like, yeah, forget about it. You know, when people come in and they're like, people actually listen to this shit. I'm like, yes, they do.
That's a weird thing. I don't even consider myself an expert in my industry, really. But
I mean, listen, do I know many taxidermists? No, I know one. I know you. Yeah. You know, but by looking at the work, it's crazy, man. Walking into your place, I was like, it is art. You don't treat it like, I guess what I know of taxidermy is I go into places or people's houses or restaurants even, and there's like heads all over the place. I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of heads. I go into your place, even the way you set up the area to display your art is pretty insane. You know, like I love the way I tell you all the time, the corner palette wood idea. I fucking love that wall. I mean, it's beautiful, you know, and then you have, you know, that crazy, you know, setup you have in the middle. I forget the name of it that you had for it, but it's the, you know, the two
African lions on the Cape Buffalo.
Yeah, dude, that is insane that you actually have it in mid scene, and it's just there. And it's funny because McCookie, after I introduced you guys and he came and talked to me afterwards, he's like, dude, did you see that thing in the middle with the tacos? I'm like, yeah, bro, I built the website. Like, I know what's on there. He's like, but dude, that's insane. I'm like, the insane part is not, for me, the insane part's not necessarily how the animals look as much as the fact that they're like, it's happening in real time.
That's kind of the goal. So that's one of the big things with taxidermy, with the art of taxidermy. When I first started my company, was to try to capture a moment in time. Like, you took a picture of this giant fight scene. I think that's the only real way that you can display taxidermy in a very cool, realistic sense. Shoulder mounts are okay. Life size static is okay. By static, you know, it's a climbing term, static, dynamic movement, or stiff. Like a stoic image. They're all right. I mean, there's a place for them, but we're designed for that cool stuff. That's just our passion. Nobody thinks that way. So the buffalo and the lion piece, we named that Eternal Struggle. And we just came out with a new one where I'm pretty sure we're naming it Frozen Fury, which I know sounds weird, but it's this cool concept piece with a flying muskox with 4 wolves, only single point of contact. All of it's 12, 15 feet in air. You can walk under it, and all of it is just suspended off the back 1 foot of the muskox. So it's literally a piece that nobody in the world can do other than me and my crew. And
that's fucking badass, dude.
It's it's what we want to do. I mean, it's our passion. Like everybody high fives at the end, like it's fucking team effort, and it's nice being the best in the world at something. And we just want to keep pushing that hardcore crazy angle because it's fun. It's fun. It's fun for our clients. Just like you said, that piece, that Lion Cape Buffalo piece, I did that 15 years ago. People still talk about that.
15 years ago.
Yeah. Can you imagine what I fucking know now? Can you imagine how cool the muskox and the wolf piece is going to
I
look?
didn't think that was 15 years ago, bro. I mean, I could have seen like maybe 5 because I've only known you for so long, but I didn't think that was 15 years.
That was my fuck you piece to the industry. When I first kind of was like, hey, I'm going to be good at this industry. I was like, I'm just going to do as cool of a project as I could do. Only 5 years, 6 years in, which was awesome. But now, wait till you see my new project. I just like pushing it so far that it's so far beyond people's imaginations that nobody can, 50 years after I die, people are still going to be talking about the cool ass work that I do.
They will be. I mean, no, for sure, dude. I mean, I can see that. You don't have to be like, I don't know, man. Like, I understand what you're saying about everybody, talking shit about what you do. And like, I get that. I don't agree with it. I mean, I really like what you're doing with everything I feel like you're immortalizing them more than just like killing animals. Like that's what they would say. I'm like, no, he's definitely not doing that. I see a lot more with, um, like it boggles my mind how are you not like in museums and shit?
Museums don't pay. They've tried.
It's like bands, right?
Yeah, they've tried.
Damn. I mean, because I go to like the Museum of Natural History, and
Yep.
It's funny. I see your work, and then I go to museum. I try to go to museums when I go to new places because it's like you'll never really probably go back there again, so you want to see what they got. And that shit sucks.
Yeah,
like it's like some fucking crappy ass shit. And then when I go see your shit in person, I'm like, oh, dude.
yeah.
I mean, it's bad.
Most of the stuff from museums work off from government funding most of the time. So what they do is they can't afford to pay the huge cool prices. So most of the time it's old people's taxidermy that died, like guys that died and their wives didn't know what to do with all the crazy stuff. That's why it's really, really bad. But as far as where we go from here,
you make your own museum?
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. So the cool thing about us right now is we are the largest studio on the East Coast specializing in African life size, this crazy insanity. African Hunting Gazette magazine is coming on board and they are starting to do their yearly conventions with us every January. We're actually just setting that up now. John Banovich, famous artist, he just came on board. We are his East Coast gallery. Christensen Arms Swarovski just came on board for our grand opening, which is June 15th to the 17th, 2023, coming up here just about a month. And they're giving away rifles and binoculars and scopes and Mystery Ranch backpacks. We're giving away hunts all over the world, stuff like that. It's exciting. We're starting to blend the adventure world, which is like my beefy, brawny side of international travel and not giving a fuck, and then my softer artistic side. And we actually created a concept called, our new slogan is, where adventure meets art, because you can go anywhere in the world with me, kill whatever you want, have an amazing time, and come back and we create this amazing piece that you're always going to remember.
That's insane. That's amazing. That's cool, man. I mean, I see where I feel like you've grown so much, even from the amount of time because I've only known you for like, what, a year now? Maybe like a year and a half. And from just like the normal photos you had and the eternal struggle you had, the piece that is, and then now you're like, oh yeah, I got we got places in Africa. We're going to build this whole new thing, global adventures. And we're building a brand new facility, and we're finally done. And let me tell you, everyone out there, man, when I first met him, he was like, yeah, we're building a new place. This thing is finally ready to open. He finally texted me, was it this morning? Okay, I'm ready for the photo shoot.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, dude, that was like a fucking year and a half ago or something.
Yep.
That's how long you've been working on this project, and the gallery is insane.
Thank you.
It's insane.
Well, I mean, it's a direct representation of me. It's a direct representation of my company and the best foot, we want to put forward. So it was a very, very long time to open, but we wanted to do it perfect. Like, I wanted every single person to walk in I don't give a shit if you like it, you hate it, whatever. I want you to see my vision of what took me 20 years of just ball breaking hard work. Like, I wanted it perfect to my standards. So that way, if there was any criticism, I could be like, fuck it. It was my way. We did it. And, win or lose on mine. So excited about it. Very
Well,
excited.
you should be that way anyway. And I'm starting to realize that now. I love that I'm becoming an old curmudgeon slowly, and I'm starting to reach that new point in my life, dude. I love that, man. It's like, look, this is what I do. Fuck it. If you're into it, great. If you're not, there's a door.
Yeah.
Just don't fucking bother me about this anymore, dude. So I'm with you, man. I mean, I love it. I never really thought much about taxidermy and shit when I was younger, because all I ever saw was museums. But now when you really put it in a setting where it looks amazing, because not even in museums they have stuff like the eternal struggle. I don't see that shit. I see like, the lion over here, and then like the fucking sheep is over here, and you just see like rah, like it's just like rah, like nothing crazy. And I remember being impressed, and I just saw photos, and when I went and saw it in real life, I was like, dude. And now you're talking to me about frozen fury, and you can stand underneath it.
Oh yeah, it'll be cool.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
It'll be cool.
Because it's cool to even create the piece, but the fact that you can even get under it and almost like experience it from all the angles, because that's the other thing too. In a museum, you're behind the velvet rope. You can't do much, at least in your gallery. It's just like you can walk around it, which again brings me back to the brown bear, dude. Like, I literally just stood there and looked at it. And what really impressed me was a story you told me about the brown bear.
Yeah.
Which I want to hear, or I want them to hear.
Yeah, sounds good. I've got 1,000,001 stories. So the brown bear, back, I can't remember what year it was. Say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we started this amazing adventure to go to Kodiak. Kodiak was my all-time dream hunt back in the day when I was like a poor kid. And I was extraordinarily poor at one moment in life. Like 20 years ago, sideline story, back to the brown bear. 20 years ago, my wife and I canceled a vacation. My wife and I have been together 20 years.
I was going to say, wow, that's a long time. Yeah. You're only 41, you said?
Yeah. And
good for you, man.
Our 10-year wedding anniversary is coming up here. Her birthday's this weekend, and our 10-year anniversary is coming up.
Nice.
So I'm saying that to remind myself so I don't get fucking in trouble. So yeah, we canceled a vacation to my buddy's cabin that was 3 hours away that had a fucking outhouse. Like, that was our yearly vacation 20 years ago, my wife and I and my dog, and we took a vacation and canceled it because a guy gave us $200 to do a mallard duck mount. And we drove 2.5 hours home because a guy gave me $200 to do his duck mount. And that meant we could keep the electricity on in our 1-bedroom apartment. So we have come it was my dream to always shoot a brown bear on Kodiak. Ended up, this fucking story is going to get weird, so buckle in.
well, I didn't hear this version then.
Oh, this is the deeper,
very quick version.
Yeah, this is the fucking deeper one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Kodiak, went to Kodiak with Frank Bishop. Was the outfitter. So I'll try to keep it as short and sweet as I can, but this is a fucking very cool story, guys. So Frank Bishop, I went with a gentleman named Chad Sprague. His father was named Steve Sprague. Steve Sprague gave me my first brown bear mount ever. That's how I met Steve Sprague. We were at the Harrisburg Sports Show. Steve Sprague showed up, dropped off a brown bear mount, and said, we were dirt dick poor back then. Guy dropped off a brown bear. It meant like we got to keep the fucking electricity on the house for a month. Like, it was important to us. Steve didn't know anything about us. We were wet behind the ears. I was fucking green. And he was just like, I believe in you. I believe in your work. I'm going to give you. It's all right. I got fucking puppies all over the place.
I still want him.
He's all right. So Steve gave me this brown bear. Didn't know anything about me. We ended up hitting a home run on his brown bear mount. Steve fucking died before he ever got to see his brown bear. But he never saw it in person, but we somehow fucking lucked out and got the cover, our first cover ever of Taxidermy Today magazine with Steve's brown bear. So Steve, literally the money that Steve gave me and the brown bear that Steve gave me catapulted my company into fucking the stratosphere. So back to Steve. Steve, the week before Steve died, he lived in Indiana. Steve asked if he could see his brown bear. Company policies, nobody sees their mount until you see it because it's cooler when you see it. Like
Right.
it's cooler to get your Christmas presents on Christmas than it is fucking a week in advance, like a picture of them. So that's kind of the thing. But for some reason, I sent Steve a picture of the magazine cover. Fucking guy has a heart attack a week later after he sees a cover picture of his bear. So he saw his fucking bear. Unbelievable story. Chad, his son, becomes one of my close friends, one of my brothers. His family's like my family. They're amazing people out in Indiana. Chad's like, why don't you go to Kodiak, Alaska with me? I say, cool, let's go to Kodiak. We meet Frank Bishop. Frank Bishop is my outfitter out there in Kodiak. We hunt for 3 years on the road system, which is like state land. While we were there, we met an older gentleman named Bill Burton. Bill Burton owns the biggest ranch on Kodiak Island at the end of road system. Bill and I became super close friends. Bill was old as shit. On my 3rd year, hunting for brown bear, still struck out twice. And I mean, it was an expensive adventure. Just like it was like soul shatteringly. We didn't have any money and I was chasing a pipe dream of shooting a brown bear. Like it was a lot. It was very, very tough on my family, me, my wife, everybody. But I just was like, I got to get this done. I got to itch. I got to scratch. 3rd year went up. I have ulcerative colitis. Almost fucking died. Got super sick, like septic sick. Body started shutting down. The day before, I told my outfitter, I was like, we got to fucking go. We got to go home. Like, I got to go home. I got to go to the hospital. Something's wrong with me. I got to go to the emergency room. We ended up that next morning when we got up, I was just broken. We went up, climbed a ridgeline, climbed the mountain. I said, fuck it, we got to go back. As we're climbing back, Frank's like, I think I see a bear down on the beach. And I'm like, you're gotta be shitting me. He's like, I think that's a fucking bear. See the vultures, see the ravens? There's a bear. There's a bear laying there. And I'm like, fuck you, whatever. We climb off this mountain. I've got adrenaline, so I don't feel sick anymore. Climb off this mountain, get all the way down. Get all the way to the beach, and we're like in farm fields on the beach of Kodiak Island, Alaska. And we crawl. There's just one little baby bitch ass pin oak in the middle of these rolling hills, like in a pasture on the fucking beach. We crawl up. Excuse me. We crawl up to this fucking pin oak, and we have no cover whatsoever. And Frank's a Vietnam vet. I'm a Marine Corps vet. We actually had a Navy SEAL. I think it was John that was with us that day. So we were all just veterans, like badass butt. And we crawled up to this, like just this little elevation. And literally we're just behind grass. We're fucking face down. And Frank, my guide, just peeks up a little bit, not even on his knees. And his fucking eyes get wide. And he looks at me. He goes, fuck, he's right there. He goes, stand up and shoot him. So, okay. So I fucking literally stand up. And it's just me and this brown bear at 20 yards. And he's laying down. The wind is fucking ripping. And this brown bear, weighed 1,700 pounds, estimated, was laying there. And he was hiding himself from the wind. So he's just laying on the side of this fucking beach. And it's me and him. And we're about 20 yards away. 20 yards is 60 feet. So we're under, Jesus Christ, your living room to your kitchen. And brown bears run about 40 miles an hour. And this thing weighs 1,700 pounds of fucking hate and discontent. So I shoulder my rifle. And I go to shoot him, and I realize I cannot see where his head is because he's like hunkered in a ball because the wind's ripping so bad. It's Kodiak Island, Alaska in late October, early November, and it's fucking freezing. So I'm like, if I shoot him bad, he's going to eat me. I'm going to die. So I just wait there. I just sit there and I would just wait. So my outfitter's looking at me 20 yards, 60 feet away from a brown bear. He can't see the brown bear. He just sees me standing there just holding my gun. And I just waiting. Just looking at this brown bear waiting. And there was a raven for some reason. I know now why, but there was a raven for some reason by his body. And the raven actually turned and saw me first and squawked and flew away. As soon as the raven squawked and flew away, the brown bear shifted and turned and stood up. And as soon as he started turning, I could see where his head was, like which side his head was. And as soon as he turned and looked at me, I shot him in his ear and he went down. So we're there celebrating, high-fiving, this and that, like shit in our pants because holy fuck, this thing's right here on the beach. High-fiving, celebrating. My guide's like, this is the biggest brown bear I've ever seen. Oh my God. And I'm like, you tell that to all your clients. Ha ha ha. And he's like, no, I'm seriously, dude. This fucking brown bear is the biggest brown bear I've ever seen. speed up that story, the brown bear ended up being number 9 in the world, all-time record book, ever killed anywhere in the world. So it was a legit fucking 11-foot monster. So back to the story. We're celebrating. We call Bill. Bill is the farmer that owns the property that we shot. We literally killed that fucking brown bear in his backyard. I've got a picture of me standing in Bill's backyard with the brown bear. And because it's been murdering his cattle for the last, they aged my brown bear at 28 years old. So it's been murdering his cattle for the last 27 years, whatever. And Bill hates his fucking brown bear. Bill walks out, gives me a huge hug, 90-year-old guy, grabs his brown bear. We have it skun out. So it's just the head of the brown bear and the hide. It's in the back of a truck now, and I vividly remember he grabbed both ears of the bear, and its head's about this big, about a 50-gallon drum, bottom of a 50-gallon drum. And he grabs both ears, and he's like, "You bastard. Oh, I'm so glad he got you. I'm so glad, you bastard. I'm so glad you're dead." He gives me a handshake again. He's like, "Son, I'm glad. If anybody got this bear, I'm glad it was you. It took you 3 years. You did it well." Fucker walks in, has a massive heart attack, and dies on his bathroom.
What?
Bill Burton died that day. We had no fucking idea. So we get back. We get back to town with the bear. We're fucking high-fiving, celebrating shit like that. His son Buck calls, Frank. We think Buck's just celebrating with us. Bill had a fucking heart attack. Dad had a heart attack and died. So Bill fucking died the day that brown bear died. So he got to outlive that brown bear. Said his last goodbye to the brown bear, fucking rest easy, walked inside to have a heart attack. Didn't even get back to town. And if you've ever been to Kodiak, it's only about 45 minutes from Bill's ranch to downtown. Fucking died in that 45 minutes. Now here's where it gets crazier.
There's more. Jesus Christ. I'm just like, what the fuck?
So Chad Sprague and I, how this whole started, Steve died. We become close family. Again, Spragues are fucking awesome. Hang out all the time. This was about 5 years ago. I'm out there November for deer hunts because Sprague Outdoors has awesome deer hunting in Indiana. Anybody that wants to go on an awesome deer hunt. So I'm out there in November having a good time partying with him. He's like, "Hey, would you mind taking Chad goes, "Would you mind taking Steve's favorite deer home with you?" It was mounted like 1970, whatever. It's old and fucked up. He's like, "It's getting really, really old. Dad would have liked you, of everybody, to remount it, and, we'll hang it above the fireplace in place of honor." I said, "Yeah, man, of course." So I throw it in the back of my truck. I end up harvesting a deer, whatever. Drove home. 3 fucking days later, Jeremiah Sprague calls me, Chad's brother, Steve's other son, and says, "Aaron, do you have Dad's deer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I got fucking your dad's shoulder mount. Why? What's up?" He's like, "Chad's house burned down the day after you left. They lost everything. All the kids, the entire family, everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. Nobody got hurt. They lost everything." So they lost all his dad's trophies, everything that brown bear I did, everything. The only surviving fucking taxidermy piece was the deer that fucking Chad gave me before I walked out.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of fucking weird, isn't it?
I don't even know what to say. I'm just like, what the fuck? Dude? That story is definitely a lot better than what the fuck you told me.
Yeah.
You're like, "Yeah, I stood up, shot it." That was like what you told me that day. I'm like, okay, well, that was,
I've got stories for days, man. I mean, that's just like a very small of like the one little baby thing that I might have did.
You know what's crazy is that you fucking sit here and you walked in before. People listen to this shit, fucking podcasting. That whole fucking story you just told me, dude. Bro, you should be podcasting yourself. But talking to like...
Too politically incorrect.
No, but see, you're thinking about that. You're talking to like people who don't agree with what you do. I've never done any of this stuff. I've never hunted. I've never known a taxidermist. I've never been in that world. I grew up in New York City. There's no fucking hunting in New York City because unless you want to talk about people in 9mm, that's different. Okay? This is like America shit, And I went to that thing in Lancaster in February.
Yep.
Pretty much all your people are there.
Yep.
People that love the hunt and love the art piece about it and all the great things about it. Everybody's in camo. Like, those are your fucking people. You're telling me the story that you just told me, and I'm an outsider. Respectfully, I'm an outsider, and I'm listening to the story, and even I'm like, fuck. Could you imagine the people that know this shit listening to what you're talking about?
Yeah. I guess it's interesting to some people.
Shut up, dude.
I don't even, the funny thing is like, My manager, who's like my younger brother, who's been with me for 10 years, he hasn't even seen or heard half my stories. I travel the world, I go on all these fucking insane hunts, and then I come back, people are like, how was it? And I'm like, it's okay.
Nah, dude, that's a wasted opportunity.
I know.
I mean, I love. Hey, man, your artwork is your artwork, and it's fucking beautiful, and we all know that. I mean, even McCookie. I mean, McCookie's seen it, he's like, it's fucking insane. Like, I know, but now listening to you tell this story, and the fact that you still go on hunts and you still travel the world, I don't know, bro. Like, and you don't think of it on a scale of like, I need like a national TV person behind me. I see it as you should be podcasting your stories. You should be filming all your hunts with somebody that comes with you. And that's a fucking YouTube channel. YouTube channel and a podcast.
You want to start going on hunts with me?
I'm like so close, but I can't film shit. I'm terrible at it. I build websites, dude. You know, like that's what I do. But I mean, that's what you should be thinking about. Because you're doing this anyway.
Yeah.
You're doing it anyway. You know, it's not like you're forcing yourself to go hunting, you know, to have these adventures. You're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So what the fuck, dude? Like, these should be all getting filmed. You tell the stories. I mean, shit, dude. You're like a fucking chock full of, you know, goddamn. A chock full of goddamn.
Thanks, man. I've got billion stories. It's fun. It's cool. Life's a very cool journey. Cool ride.
It is a cool ride, man. And it's cool to be able to tell those stories. And I know you're a humble man. You don't want to sit there and talk about yourself, and I understand all that. But I don't see that as, you know, talking about yourself. I see it as, I don't know, just like sharing the travels. Because, like, am I ever going to go to Kodiak, Alaska and shoot a brown bear? I can 99.9% say it'll never happen. But fuck, I loved listening to that story, dude. Yeah. I loved listening to how that whole thing came about. And Steve, and then Chad, and then fucking places burning down, and Bill, and I'm like, damn. And that's a movie that if you wrote that movie, people would be like,
yeah, they wouldn't fucking get it.
No, it'd be crazy. Corny. It'd be like, that doesn't happen. It only happens in movies. Yeah, that's how life is, though, dude. You know, that's what you should be doing, brother. You know, on top of being the world's fucking #1 taxidermist. I mean, shit.
Cool. Well, we'll see. Maybe people might listen.
They will, dude. I mean, they will. I mean, what's crazy is, like, I guarantee that if you take this episode and share it with your people, different story. I share it with my people, sure, people listen. You share it with your people. Let's take a gander at how that does.
Yeah.
You know, that would be interesting to see what that does. Yeah, don't give me the hung.
Yeah, we haven't even got into the Russian shit. Yeah, the Russian.
Well, that's a whole other thing, because I'm just like, what? I mean, like, it's funny, as a Marine, you know, and growing up, I mean, you're 40, we're only 3 years apart, but who knows? Maybe it is far enough apart. Rocky IV, you know? So it's just like, dude, you went to Russia? Like, what the fuck are you doing in Russia?
Russia's cool, man. I love it. It's one of my favorite countries. If it wasn't for the government's fucking terrible. So the government owns everything in Russia. They own the taxi cabs. They own the airports. They own everything. So that's the only bad thing. You can never really get away from the finger of authority. But once you kind of do, we normally, it's a long journey to get there. So you got to start, if you're East Coast, you go JFK to Istanbul. Istanbul is a absolute dumpster fucking fire of a fucking country, city, and airport, by the way. Istanbul is fucking dog shit, man. They literally spray their toilets with like a pressure washer. That's how they clean their fucking toilets. Like, yeah, there's got a guy with a hazmat suit and a pressure washer. Yeah, fucking everything's dripping just fecal matter. Fuckheads. So once you survive fucking Istanbul, fuck. That was actually, Istanbul was one of the closest times I've ever been to dying on an airline. Yeah, we had a fucking aborted landing. I've had a couple aborted takeoffs, but we had a fucking aborted landing. So we actually touched down, fucking dethrottled, and then rethrottled, and tried to make. And when you land in Istanbul, there's a fucking body of water there. It's like the Mediterranean Sea or some insane shit. So you fly over fucking water to land. Wow. So when we landed, we had to power down and then fucking power up at the same time. So the engines are screaming. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking die. And there wasn't even a suitable stewardess to try to fucking declothe at that time. It was terrible. It's fucking, I always say I'm gonna fucking hook up with a stewardess if we're going down. I mean, if you're going down, you might as well have fun.
Yeah, you're fucking dying.
Yeah,
So Istanbul, Turkey to Russia?
Yeah, sorry. Istanbul. Once you survive Istanbul, you go to Moscow. Moscow's cool. A lot of cool shit in Moscow. You got the Kremlin, everything's there. But then, so Russia's huge, man. Russia's like 17 hours east to west. So, it's brutal.
Well, think of, and to put that in perspective, New York to Cali is 5.5.
Exactly.
So that's more. That's triple.
And I mean, the people in Eastern or Western Russia are more aligned to like the European style way of life, where if the farther east you go, they're almost like Mongolian Kyrgyz, like they're
like Genghis Khan ish.
They're very tan, shorter, more cherubic, more robust, hardier people. Just awesome people. And that kind of leads me into, or that kind of adds into, when you go further west from Moscow, further east, you land into Kamchatka, the Kamchatka Peninsula, which the Kamchatka Peninsula is if the Bering Sea, everybody's seen Deadliest Catch, where the Aleutian island chain, where it goes underneath the Bering Sea and it comes up on the other side. It's like a big fucking circle. That side's called the Kamchatka Peninsula. So it's pretty much the exact same shit you see in Kodiak Island, Alaska, like that shitty Alaska. But the bears are fucking huge and the moose are huge and the sheep are huge. So we make a lot of money off from that little island. So once you land in Kamchatka, you have to overnight in Kamchatka. So now you're getting fucking third world. After you overnight in Kamchatka, you have a 2-hour bush flight that is fucking intense north to this fishing village called Polana. So I tell all my guys, the Kamchatka, I'm going to end up fucking getting arrested next time I go to Russia, because you're going to fucking hear I'm blasting them. Once you get lined up, I tell my clients, because these hunts are expensive. These hunts are $15,000, $25,000, $45,000. When you open up, there's nothing in Polana Village, which is 2.5-hour north flight from the city center of Kamchatka. This is the most third world fucked up shithole you can possibly ever imagine. There's no paved roads. There's nothing. People are wonderful and awesome, and I'll get into that. But as far as conditions, absolutely terrible. If you want a TV, you have to fly this bush flight to Kamchatka to buy your 40-inch fucking flat screen, and then you carry it like a carry-on on this flight to get north. They don't give a fuck that we just paid $25,000 for these hunts. They don't care. It is an all-out fist fight to get in this plane. And once the plane is full, they will fly. So it doesn't matter. They have, if there's 30 seats on the plane, they'll sell 30 tickets, but they do not count bags. So if you've got a table, like a computer table, they're going to put that everywhere. It's a fist fight to get on. People are throwing other people's shits off. It's insane. Once you get on this flight, if it gets airborne, it's like the duct tape into the cockpit, like the wind or the door is rattling and on the cabin of the plane. It's the worst fucking flight you've ever been on. Once you land in Polana, it only gets crazier from there. It's a 12-hour tank ride into base camp.
12-hour tank ride
on the top of a tank. Yeah, using caribou skins as a cushion. Yeah.
Wow.
And then you start hunting.
12 hours.
Yeah.
On a tank.
Yep, just driving. Just driving on a fucking tank.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, the people there are awesome. Back to the people of Polana, awesome. I've got so many friends that I consider family up there. People do anything for you. Very, very giving, loving, awesome people. Big drinkers. They can't really fucking drink well, but they're big drinkers.
Well, that's and that's the sad part is that, okay, like I just sat here and was like, dude, you went to Russia, Rocky IV, communism. That's what society puts into my brain as far as what Russia's about. That's a whole other fucking podcast. But you just sat and talked to me. You're like, yeah, it's fucking shitty, but the people is shit. They'll fucking do anything for you. And you don't think about that when you think of Russia. You think about fucking Putin and fucking doing all the bad shit that happens. Yeah, that's what's so cool because, like, yeah, you don't think about going to Russia on vacation, or like chilling. But now I'm like, Russia sounds cool.
The Kremlin was beautiful. I really want to go to St. Peter's. Yeah, it's an awesome place, and the people are fucking tough. And if we ever get in a fucking world war with the Russians, we will all die. There is not many Aaron Simsers to fucking counter. Most Russian women will kick the fuck out of soy boy, Starbucks drinking fucking mocha latte losers. Like these Russian women in Polana fishing village, 2.5 hours north of fucking Kamchatka. There is nothing there. There's not paving. There's not a general store. There's fucking nothing. There's one restaurant. It's called Club Chicago. It's not even a restaurant. It's a restaurant slash like a house hotel kind of. It's nothing like anything you've ever seen. If I took you there right now, if I could snap my fingers, you'd be like, I want to leave. This is not a fucking good place to be in. This is the only place in Polana that you can hang out. It's called Hotel Chicago. You would be amazed how many unbelievably fucking beautiful smoke show white chicks wearing white pants and white high heel shoes walking around the fishing village of Polana that are supermodels, like Las Vegas supermodels, because they're Russian, and they don't eat fuck. So they're 100 pounds, 5'5", blonde hair, white pants, white high heels, mud everywhere. They literally live in tin sheds, like tin huts screwed together, but they dress up.
Wow, that's insane. It sounds like Henry Rollins is has a whole like I wouldn't say bit, but a story about Russia. It's kind of like sounds like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
When he went to Russia. Yeah, he talks about like these women are like he was like there's blonde haired, white, Nordic, like just like beautiful women, but they'd fucking destroy you.
Oh yeah,
and this was like 20 years ago he was talking about this.
Yeah. It's impressive. I mean, I like I love Russian culture. They've got it right. They don't fuck around. Like
it's true.
You get clapped up. You fuck around, you get straight up clapped up.
So Costa Rica, you don't want to go to Russia instead?
No, Russia's too cold, man. I hate cold. Unfortunately. And most of the stuff, that's why I hunt so much in Africa. And Spain for the most part. Everything else you hunt, you have to hunt cold weather. I don't like cold weather.
Shit, me neither. I'm ready to get out of here. That's for sure. Well, dude, man, I hope I fucking hope you seriously think twice about like writing, podcasting, videoing. Because like just sitting here listening to your stories, I'm like, I don't know you at all. Like I know you, but I don't know you.
Yeah.
I just know you as a cool dude that I met through friends, and we're doing some business together, some good things. And that's just like one aspect of like the adventure you've been on and like how many more you have to come.
Cool, man.
So dude, man, I hope you share it with the world at some point when you get comfortable enough, because fuck, that's all I gotta say.
I appreciate it, Fred.
All right, man, we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Fred.
Hey, thank you for checking out this episode of Fred Talk. If you dug what you saw, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss another episode. You can also check us out online at fredtalk.tv. Don't forget, your Uncle Freddie loves you. Peace.